Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi. My name is Delaney. As a Vagabond missionary for 3 years.
Start over.
Hello, my name is Delaney Mohr. I was a Vagabond missionary for 3 years.
Anyone can do this, but not everyone will.
About a couple weeks before, I had been asked by the priest who was administering confession to me. He asked what I needed so that he could give me a good penance. And my answer was that I needed good community. And so it was totally an answered prayer for Vagabond to come into my life. I got involved with Vagabond because Sophie, who's on the other side of the camera from me right now, invited me to come sit on her porch. And then she invited me again to come sit on her porch. And then she invited me again to come sit on her porch. And then she invited me to come to do a polar plunge in the river with some of the missionaries. And after we did the polar plunge, we went and got lunch. And it was beautiful because it was like, whoa, I feel at home with these people in this place. I went with Sophie one time with some of the girls to go with some of the young people, some of the young women, to go swimming one summer. And I remember watching one of the young women walk out of this apartment all ready to go swimming, just with the biggest smile on her face. And the moment I saw her, I was just in love with her. And we had so much fun. And I think Sophie was a great introduction to mission because she just loves this mission and loves the young people that we serve. And she's so fun, and it was so much fun to be with her doing it. So I got brought into mission in the way that I think a lot of the young people get involved is just like a need for community. But my plan was to go teach abroad for a few years and then teach English abroad and then come back and get my PhD and teach at a university, which I think I would have really enjoyed. But during my senior year of college, I had a big reconversion to the faith. And for the first time in my life, I was like, okay, not only is there going to be a rest of my life, but I'm going to be there for all of it. And simultaneously experiencing extreme gratitude for the gift of the education that I'd been given and the family that I grew up in and the community around me. And there had just been so much goodness given to me throughout my whole life. And so for the first time, I was moved out of gratitude to respond in love to the Lord. I reached a point of being very stubborn with the Lord, I think in a good way, of just saying, like, I am not going to move. I'm not going to, like, make a final decision until I know for sure that it's your will. I was also doing a novena to St. Therese, kind of, where she gives you a flower to tell you, like, the answer to a discernment question. And I was having a really hard time figuring out flowers for the other things. Oh, my other option was that I would just go be a nun. My flowers for Vagabond was purple and yellow, but specifically purple irises and yellow sunflowers. After my first interview with Vagabond, I did it outside of the church where all the missionaries were praying morning prayer. And after my interview, I went in for the last 15 minutes of holy hour. And I was just sitting in the back of the church. I came in and I didn't want to disrupt or anything. And I just knelt down in the back of the church and I was just staring at the Lord. And I started crying because I was looking at the backs of all these heads of these people that I had very quickly fallen in love with. And I was just like, this is beautiful and I love these people and thank you, Lord, for this community. During this holy hour, Ruth, one of the current missionaries, came over and was like, hey, can I pray for you? And so she laid her hands on me and prayed for clarity and discernment, which was beautiful. And then the Holy Hour was over. It was like 15 minutes and then it was over. And Sam, one of the missionaries, came over and was like, Delaney, you and Sophie were in my dream last night. And I was like, no way, what was your dream? And he told me that we were at my aunt's house in Manhattan, which I have family in Manhattan. And he said, yeah, we were at your aunt's house in Manhattan, but I wanted to go outside. And so I walked to one door and that wasn't it. And then I walked to another door and it was the backyard. And I walked outside. I could tell it was early spring because the grass was green, but the trees were still bare. And I walked outside and looked to my left, and there was just this massive field of sunflowers, just like towering, huge, spiral, growing on everything, like vines of them and bushes and trees of sunflowers. And then I walked to the back to the yard, and I wanted to climb the tree that was back there, and it was still bare, and there was half of it was covered in thorns and the other half was bare. So I decided to climb the side that was bare. Does that mean anything to you? And I was just struck. Are you serious? Like they like the Lord wants me here, and they want me here, and I want to be here, and just very, I don't know, just in disbelief that the answer was yes to what I really wanted to be doing. Definitely, like, hardest part of mission emotionally is the inability that we have to fix things for our beloveds. Emotionally really difficult first year of mission was the first young woman that I got close with ran away and was on the missing persons list for a while while she was pregnant by someone who was very illegally older than her. And I still haven't prayed still for her, but I haven't seen or heard from her since then. But I think one of the hardest things is watching one of the young people make leaps and bounds in their faith and come very close to receiving the sacraments and then backing out at the last minute. Even if it's like good discernment, it's still very painful to desire a life filled with Christ for someone and have them choose not to live that way.
Yeah, it's very real.
Yeah. My last week of mission, we had Bible study, and it was such a beautiful evening. We had this big group of girls who like got along sometimes, but by the end of this small group, there were girls who had never really talked much to each other, holding each other while they were crying. And then this was one of the first warm days of the springtime. And so at the end of Bible study, everybody, as they were going outside to get in the vans, was just playing in the front yard and just being kids and just getting to stand there and watch these young people just playing and knowing them by name and knowing things about just knowing them, just getting to know them and getting to watch them exist is the best thing ever. I've gotten to have really, really cool moments, like getting to be with one of our teens, one of our young women, when she found out that she was pregnant as a senior in high school, and getting in the car with her afterwards and being like, "What do you think?" And her saying, "Well, I have to have it. Like I made this choice, and I'm gonna own up to it, and I'm gonna stick to it." And getting to watch her over the last couple of years, she's almost 21, or she just turned 20. Getting to watch her get this fire under her to be like, I want this life for my child and getting to watch her child grow up. And yeah, that's been amazing. And just the neighborhood, being in the middle of the neighborhood is so cool. Having the little kids from the neighborhood come in during all hours and get snacks and just be funny and fun, and getting to watch them grow up is really, really joyful. I think really Mission gave me a lifelong group of friends that I want to have my children grow up around, and Mission, the Lord through Mission has given me a lifetime of prayer, of stability of prayer. Do you want her to come inside? Yeah. I can hold her. Can I hold her? Okay.
Okay, yeah, I've got to get on this call.
Yes, you were playing with Daddy. That's so fun. If this is the way that the Lord wants to love you, and if this is the way that the Lord wants to love his little ones in you, he's going to make it work. And who are you to say no? Do you want to say something? You're talking to it. You say, hi. Perfect.
The longest name ever.
Hey,